Like my appointment set team is so good. The quota for the appointment set team this month is like 450 sets. We still have one more day tomorrow. I think we got like 430 sets. Or maybe we hit quota, I'm not even sure yet, because we have one more day. But like, how is missing quota over 400 appointments set? And like we've nearly done over 100, we've done over 150 demos this month. That's not, by the way, that's not the target. We're away from the target at the moment. I'm gonna try and sell more tomorrow to hit the target. So yeah, like I would have to let go of being the sales guy. And also the guy that everyone complains to when it's a really advanced problem. One thing I've been doing, people bring problems to me, I'm like, okay, what do you think the solution is? I ask them, you know, what their solution is, and I ask them for what their opinion is, and that's how I get them to start to develop more independence instead of having to rely on me. Deep personal question, have you thought about marriage? Of course, man. Like, yeah, I think there's benefits to marriage. I also think there's potentially not the best benefits as well, particularly for the males involved from a contractual point of view. But I think marriage for children is perfect. I think it creates stability, and it gives a platform for kids to be able to model something like, hey, mom and dad treat them like this, and they're locked in essentially what's a contract, but a contract that creates stability for the nuclear family. But look, is marriage like the top of my mind at the moment? No, it's not. Currently single, but you know, I'm also not open to the right individual. But it's definitely not the priority. The priority is building my leaders up, making sure they can get what they want out of life, not just corporate wise, but in their personal life, and hopefully I can be a pathway to their ability to finance some of the things that they want to tick off. All right, a few more questions. Today's live is going to be short. I'm going to take care of some personal things. Chilinet said, what's up, Mitch? What do you secretly hope success will fix? That's a deep question. When I made my first 100K in salary, I was about 22 years old, 22, 23, and like, what that ticked off the ego of like, finally I'm doing 6 figures a year. But to be honest, once my business got to like $1 million a year, like in revenue, like which was recent, obviously, $1 million plus now, by the way. Looks like we'll be touching 2 to 3 million in monthly, in annual run rate by the end of March. But anyway, different conversation. One of the things that I thought it would fix was, it did fix this, to be fair. You guys have to understand, I spent so much in my early 20s, like spending, not having that much money. Because I do these different business ventures, some of them would fail, some of them wouldn't fail, etc. I remember being 21 in a broken bed being like, can I afford a $5 Domino pizza? And I didn't come from a broke family, but I didn't come from a rich family either. I was born in Fiji Island in 1999 with Latoka, right? So my parents really struggled. And, one thing I think money will aid, maybe not fix, is just speed of things. Because I was able to get things like Quasar off the ground and culture, relaunch, etc. just with my mind. And I'm still going to be using my mind, but I feel like now that I've got resources, I can be like, I want this AI agent built, and it's going to be built in like a week. It's going to do it over. Like, by the way, we're about to take over the internet. And I mentioned that because, like, again, having the finance to be able to hire someone, well, that's all they do every day, all day, which is to create these different things, create speed. So I do think money equals speed to an extent. And I don't think that's a false belief, but I do think initially you have to create your own speed and your own momentum through what we call sweat equity, putting in those hours. There's 10,000 hours, 5,000 hours, 50,000 hours. And I think I've actually put in my hours, which is why now I'm able to operate at a frequency that attracts certain finance levels, What kind of people does your ambition naturally push away? You know what's interesting? It's funny you ask that. Even when it comes to dating or with women, you'll be surprised. Like when I was having the most success with women, actually, that's probably not true what I'm going to say. But when I was more open on the dating market, let's just say, when I was in my early 20s, because I haven't made it yet by any means, because I hadn't been perceived to have made it, I probably had the most access to women because they weren't as intimidated. Now, even smart chicks, they will want to, there's something called shit testing. I'm not going to go too deep into like the dating because I'm not a dating internet guy. But what happens is they're going to try and test your competence. And what happens is if they realize sometimes you're too competent, they feel like you're out of reach. So what biology tends to say is that, women are hypergamous, they date across social hierarchies and above. So if you look at archetypal movies like Beauty and the Beast, the beauty wants to tame the beast. If you look at Shrek, the ogre wants to have the princess, right? So, from a, misogynistic or non-misogynistic or patriarchal, whatever you call it, from those point of views, women tend to want men that are kind of wild, that they can tame. Whether it's, and if you look at if you look at the pornographic literature that women read or watch, oftentimes it's the billionaire, it's the fireman, And I forgot the third archetype. It was another aggressive archetype. But that's because all of those three things resemble ultra aggressive men. To be an entrepreneur, you have to be very psychologically aggressive, essentially. To want to be, a police officer or a firefighter, you have very high risk tolerance, right? So anyway, why do I mention these things? Sometimes too much ambition, it attracts, but it also can repel because they're like, I can't tame this guy. He's too this or he's too that. And it's not that it's been an issue for me, it's just I can feel it. And it's been really interesting because I've also been super broke. And now that I've got 60 staff, sometimes people in general don't even understand like the concept of money. But anyway, this is a different conversation.